Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Chrissy Sawyer here. So I think it's safe to say we are in the acceleration. And I have lots of notes. So this started pouring in at 1 o'clock this morning. So I look tired and jaded because guess what? So what I'm going to do is just read through these notes and follow the thread. I haven't read them back, so they may not make any sense. So bifurcation is the first word that came in, and the distinct splitting now away from our old timelines, away from our old narratives and sense of beingness and identityness and who we are in the world versus who we want to be in the world. And as the new timelines come in, we might be gateway jumping a lot. And so the theme is really to hold the vibration of the new timelines that are coming in and to witness how alien that might feel in a system of consensus, and to find that belongingness in ourselves and to stand in the autonomy and sovereignty of that no matter what. So bifurcation, becoming visible in the contrast of disharmony in the bubble or out into the insanity. Okay. And so the way we are able to interpret the collective field is coming into really sharp contrast. And that's going to feel some kind of way. You might feel a distinct difference between in your bubble and out of your bubble. Yeah. And so there's a little pattern of energy emerging, which looks like an anticipation energy that you might feel in your belly, which increases to anxiety, which might increase to terrified. And the terrified is that staring straight into the void, sensing something and not being able to determine. Just got the word disenfranchised, not being able to determine what it is, and just to watch for whether that triggers fear programming. And remember, this last eclipse is dead on the Lilith point in Libra, in the house of relationship. And primary relationship is you, your relationship with yourself, your ability to sense check yourself according to no one else's wants and needs. So there's a kind of, we stand alone in this. So the terrified might be a part of us that's still catching up, because we might have leapt so far forwards that there's a part of us that hasn't quite yet caught up. So bring the evolved self to the little self and just stand in the recalibration and the reharmonizing, just kind of cleansing that energy to bring it in and integrate it. So we're looking at the deepest levels of suppression now coming up. And this lovely sentence that came to me over the weekend about hope. Hope is designed to prevent us from seeing the harsh reality of life. And so there's a calling outness, call it out for what it is without judgment. Just in the neutrality of the observation of what it really is. New timelines locking in. be at cause, or be at nil cause. Now, as we come into a deeper sense of harmony with ourselves, a deeper sense of peace, the pull from society to reweave back into dramatic pathways will seem louder. And as we're holding the vibration of these new timelines coming in, it feels like a reset, like an upgrade, like a holistic upgrade. And as we hold the energy of that and just witness the temptation, the seduction of drama, just move past us, then we won't cause that energy to be disrupted. Contextualizing the abstract as well is becoming very difficult. So we've got to start making up new language and new words and smushing words together. Okay, new timelines looking and be at nil cause as much as possible. Wait and hold the new energies to embed and integrate them. I didn't check the name of that film. Right, bear with me. I just want to pause. B. Harold Crick. Okay, so the name of the film is Stranger Than Fiction with Will Ferrell and Emma Thompson. And it's a film about a chap called Harold Crick who seems to be thinking and making things happen. So as he thinks, it happens. And so he goes to see somebody, and their best guidance to him is to wait for the plot twist. And so he has to go into this long pause. He takes a week off work and he sits. I don't want to talk too much into it. It's such a great film if you ever check it out. But what comes to him is fascinating. Okay. So wait for the plot twist. And what that's speaking to is to get out the way. It's to get out the way. Okay. So what is meant for you is coming to you. And that predicates upon your ability to dream and to vision. And that might be limited. Stop making excuses for others, and here's the call it what it is. And instead dissolve the narcissism by calling it what it is without shame or personal judgment. And so we're observing and witnessing in a deeper level of truth. And here, this theme now kind of starts running through. I'm going to call it covert narcissism, which I think is coming up into sharp contrast. And it's so subtle. Okay. Right. Listen, I'm on a bit of a Maggie Smith homage at the moment. The late, very great Titan that was Dame Maggie Smith, as you probably all know, passed away recently. So I've curated a list of her films because she's just one of my favorite actors. And I was watching something of hers the other day, and there was a big dramatic scene where a husband and wife go through a big dramatic thing, and it happens to her, and he wants to know what he's done. Okay, that's covert narcissism. So he's made her trauma all about him. I want to know what I've done. Why have you stopped loving me? So it's all I, me, mine. Okay. It's not about him. It's nothing to do with him. And he's being loving and caring. So look what we've done to loving and caring. We've made it about ourselves. It's nothing to do with him. But he's all wounding. So he's in his woundedness and he doesn't see it. And it projects out as this care, this human care thing that we do. And instead, the absolute truth is this is not about you. Can you stop inserting yourself into my trauma, please? Okay, so that level of separation where we become entangled because she might go to pleasing and stroking his wounded ego. Okay. And maybe I do another video on covert narcissism, but it's coming up for dismantling. I think we've got, I don't know what Pluto's doing, but it's still mercilessly working that last degree of Capricorn. So bringing the structure down and tiptoeing into Aquarius, which is the freedom of independent thought at the risk of being cold. Okay, so it's that detachment from the emotional response to critical inquiry. It's clean. It's very clean. Okay, so we're letting go of shame, personal judgment, inserting ourselves into other people's drama. And again, comes back to hold the vibration of this new timeline. Watch out for drama that will come in and go, come this way. No, I'm good, thanks. And then weather, the name calling, the derision. It'll come. It's how one serves the other. It's how shadow serves the light. It's about personal choice. There's personal choice in everything, even when it seems like there isn't. There's personal choice in everything. So new energies affecting central nervous system, physical, emotional, and psycho-spiritual perception. Everything is changing. We're not in Kansas anymore. And then Mars in Cancer came in. I haven't checked the astrology. I'm just going to speak to it. Keep the home fires burning or give up the pretense is what came in. And this will speak to family systems of obedience, capitulation, not challenging, not standing in your own selfhood, becoming something else to please another, and standing in the harshness of swimming against that tide in this separation, the acceleration of separation. Is that what it is? And then in comes Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. It's actually made me laugh. Jupiter is going retrograde, and it will be retrograde. I think it's for 81 days, but check the astrology. It's till next year anyway, and it's going retrograde in the third house of communication, which is Gemini. So here's how I read that energy. Shh. There you go. I've just done it all in one word. Shh. Say less, listen more. Drop the defending. Drop the explaining and justifying. Notice yourself oversharing or needing to prove a point. And find the truth in the conflict. The truth in the conflict might be, I don't feel heard or met. Yep. So what are you going to do about it? Okay, so we're attracting soul tribes. So people who can meet us at soul level rather than the adjusted, amended, adapted Old Testament version of the pleasing human or the human that fits in by adjusting. acquiescing, pleasing, stroking. And so we're sublimating the ego here. And so the conflict will serve. And in the conflict, you might find the part of you that doesn't feel heard, the part of you that doesn't trust you. And you might dread the derision of others or want to avoid the derision of others. Maybe lean in. And then time warp came in. Time warp and mind the gap. And for the last 2 days, I've had that awful song. It's awful to me because I can't stand the Rocky Horror Show. I never got it. It was like cult following in England, certainly, but I never got it. And Let's Do the Time Warp again. That song came in. So that's why that's been playing. So the time warp will speak to the part of us that has leapt forward and the part of us that's catching up. Okay, so it might feel like this gap, sitting in the gap. And again, take the evolved part of yourself and just stand in the presence of, maybe we're talking about a little one, maybe we're talking about a suppressed one. And just, okay. And so in the time warp, try and leave the gap open where there is no context, where it's just pure abstract, and sit in that. Society will want you to know what you're talking about, will want you to explain yourself or be able to justify, give credence to. We're not there. There'll be parts that you can contextualize, but there's more abstract. It feels very coalescent. It feels like everything is moving and everything is silent and everything is loud all at the same time. So the abstract field coming in thick and fast, this is part of the acceleration. And a little moment of personal sharing, if I may. So I'm kind of in and out of sleep all night. And suddenly I wake up, open my eyes, and in front of me is a giant butterfly being ridden by an eagle. Okay. That is there, open-eyed, in front of me. So I've fallen through into another dimension. Okay. So what I'm saying is, it's okay that in that moment, I had no idea what was happening, where I was, what is this experience? And that's okay. I don't understand it, but I'm seeing it, and both are true. Okay. So symptoms, overstimulated central nervous system. And I'm just going to briefly mention that 2 or 3 days ago, we had an X9 solar flare, which has pushed out a massive coronal mass ejection. So that's going to hit us in the proton and photon, in the matter and the light. So we're going to feel it everywhere. And first, we're going to feel it in the central nervous system, which might feel raw, overstimulated, overexposed. So, and I sense there's a whole module of learning there for me. As I get it, I'll bring it. But it's like learning to take care in a different way of an overstimulated central nervous system. So electromagnetic field is really feeling it. Needs a lot of TLC, a lot of gentle, quiet time. And I'm just getting this image of getting a really big blanket and just wrapping it, to swaddling in it, just to feel that peace. Whatever works, find it. And drop a comment, because can we share best practice here? In the collective also, indigestion and heartburn. That's been around for about 7 days, 6 or 7 days. I'm noticing that coming through. Headaches, chronic headaches, crown chakra, really opening up. Kidney pain, fatigue, and insomnia. Okay, so that's my round robin. Thank you, book. And I'm only going to pull a few cards. I think that kind of speaks to, that will definitely speak to October. And maybe if we do a card here for the theme that is being dissolved. What's the main theme that's being dissolved? What's in the gap? And where are we moving to? And it might not come through because it's getting so personal and unique that it's almost challenging the very meaning of collective and unity consciousness. So let's start here with what is dissolving. Let's come out on an angle. And again, what's dissolving? Thank you. I'm just being reminded of another symptom of change. Now, I've noticed this. I haven't seen it come through the collective, but I'll share it. I have more energy. Okay. So I came home from shopping at the weekend and just looked at the tree in my back garden. It's like, oh my God, that's everywhere. Ran into the house, dumped the shopping, went out and did the annual tree trimming. So I'm crawling around inside this tree. Normally I wouldn't have had energy to do that, having been out into the humanness of life. And I had to come home, get a cup of tea, sit down, get quiet. But I went straight out and caught myself like, wow, I've actually got energy to do this. So the tree looks lovely and is no longer impeding upon other people's property. So fire. Why is right? Okay. Mars in Cancer and 1155 have just landed. So we'll just plant that. Moving out of stagnation. Okay. 15, spiritual alchemy. So bear with me. I need to slow down. So can you see this? There's two energies here. There's the stirring up of the dust. So we've got this Lilith point being activated in the solar eclipse, moving out of stagnation in our clearer perspective of seeing the absolute truth of what's there, of what we're looking at, of what's here. So as we see the truth within, that lens gets cleared, and then we really start to see the truth without. And so the spiritual alchemy in that 15, that's the devil card. Okay. Moving out of stagnation is, if you look at the devil card, it's slipping those chains off, the chains that make us feel we're trapped, but they're not true. And we're learning to bring our fire online. Yeah, absolutely. Underlying card is the revelation, is sitting in that unknown, abstract, unmapped, unmarked territory. Thank you. Where we're bringing the lower to the higher and the higher to the lower. So there's a lot of soul fusion work going on. There's a lot of integrating, calibrating with our future self, higher self. Okay, that's all going to come in, and that's going to trigger the lower world. Give me that quote again. We do not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the unconscious conscious. Okay. And so the revelation will be in you. It will be the revelation of what you truly are. Okay, so I'm going to put the lower world with what is dissolving. Unmarked trail is just going to sit there as the underlying energy. Oh, this is the space. Oh, it's coming straight off the bottom. Okay, the space. This is the space in between. And what if we change the word needing to without? Without direction. 369 is that gateway point. It's like there's no context to hang on to, but you know there's change. There's imminent and big, it feels colossal change, like a whole new paradigm coming in. And as we're being invited to shift timelines, we might be reticent to letting go. This is the 8 into the 9, 8, 9, 10. So we might be reticent to let go of what we know, because in there is a certain amount of safety and security and familiarity and identity. And I can speak to this personally, like journaling at 1 o'clock in the morning. My reticence can get quite arrogant, like bugger off. It's time for me to sleep. Okay. And so in that is an absence of complete commitment. But after I'd written all of those words, I felt at ease in my body. So this task is on my radar. Okay. And it's on my radar to fully commit to capturing it, landing it, helping it find context and birth. Okay. So I've got to meet a little bit of arrogance in there, that it's an Old Testament little part of me that wants a normal life, because she knows that. I've got the sat nav for that. I have no sat nav for this. And so what do? I deep dive into my childlike curiosity. Like, what is this? And that helps me every time. So that's the bridge. Okay. So we're coming out of stagnation. We're sitting in this 369. It's the end of the world as we know it. Who sang that song? It's the end of the world as we know it. That. Oh, okay. Here's the eagle. Let's put that with the underlying unmarked trail. So what that's telling me is the truth is going to come in from the higher self. It's coming in on that 16 energy. So this is like Uranus tower energy. So it's going to bring down the illusion and the self-delusion, because it's going to give you a really high perspective, allow you to get the big picture. And in that big picture, you'll see repeating cycles of behavior, and then you can make a choice. Okay, so I'm going to draw a third pile over here, which is something like, give us a clue. Give us a clue. Okay. I'm getting really strongly this will not work for the collective. Okay. Let's see. That's a lot of cards. Ah, right. Yeah, got it immediately. First card out, you're on your own. You have everything you need. You're on your own. 45 stares into the void. 'Tis the dissolving. It's the higher mind coming in to find context in the world, but it can only be done on your terms and through your lens, through your now clear lens. You haven't been doing all of this work for nothing. And again, this speaks to the commitment to go within, to build without, rather than to allow without to build what's within. Without is falling, it's all coming down. And we're building from within. But I'd rather be liked and stroked and petted. But when we look deep into the eyes of the coyote, look at those eyes, they're amazing. I don't know how to put this into words. Again, seeking context. Nothing. There's nothing. There's no challenge. There's no deception. You're on your own. What do you get from those eyes? Drop me a comment. So the 12 is about personal authority, self-governance. This scarf is getting on my nerves. Self-governance. Measure, how we measure ourselves in the eyes of another, how we measure ourselves in the eyes of another. Okay. Don't be put off when you feel less than. Lean in. Lean in. The truth of what you might be doing is to sublimate the ego. Hollow bone. It's very stripped back. That's what I get with this. No pretense. That was, did I mention that? I'm sure that was another message. That was the Mars in Cancer. Stop pretending. Teachability. So this might literally speak to how teachable are you in the face of your higher self, your future self? Pliability. Stretch Armstrong. This feels like a dissolving of what we perceive as family, a dissolving of the paradigm of family. This is going to make way to connect to your galactic family, to your soul family, and those paths might take you away from your biological family. So, family in the house of relationship, in a solar eclipse, the energy of which will cook for the next 6 months, along with the energy of the lunar eclipse, which is clearing out that 12th house, Pisces, all the old programming. And here's the fusion. 2 is unity. 2 seeks the unity. Higher self, lower self, inner world, outer world. 2 twins, Gemini, Jupiter, retrograde, radical acceptance. Yeah, these are rather lovely, aren't they, together? Heart on fire. So, you're on your own. There's a reworking of the family system, or what constitutes family. In the eyes of a lack of identity, in the eyes of a lack of knowing and ability to contextualize, give credence to purpose, meaning, all of that exhausting stuff that we do to hold our position in the family. I think that's it. I'm going to wrap it up with yeah. Okay. I'm going to wrap it up with a Lifruma card. And you can get these at lifruma.com. And with a resurrection card. We're here first, Lifruma. Give me a poem. I love these cards. I'm not going to read all of these, but there's some beautiful quick messages coming through. Yeah. Eord Megan. Russell, tell me how to say it. So this speaks to power, speaks to personal power. It's that 12-3 energy carved in stone before birth. Okay. The cosmic gift, cosmic divine right. That's what's coming in. It's coming in on that 60, which is the perfection of heart in matter. It's the perfected grail. Okay. First blood. It's coming in. Slow down. Give it time. Don't seek to know too soon. Because once we know, we start to believe. And when we believe, we fix it. Okay. It's like the soulʼ that fixes dye into cloth. Rite of passage, synchronizing, bloodlines, time. Owl senses, adjust your perception. Okay. The two that came out first are 13, that beautiful 13. Sacral. I'll read this one. The magical 13th rune of the mystical. You. Consciousness hooked in and plugged in to the seat of your soul. That did something. It's another symptom, solar plexus. To use somebody's word, I hope this is okay. Spazzing. I love this word. Solar plexus spazzing. Okay. To be life on earth, seeded and eternal, the inner wood of you may rot, yet fortifying from within a new stem, plumps the trunk back up. So it's 13, it's the dying away and the reseeding, the reshooting. And it's pruning season. Cutting branches off trees. Ancient witness of hidden sacred wisdom, past lives clinging and calling, old visions seen anew, deep wonders awoken, lessons learned. Time to let go. Oh, interesting. Oh, interesting. Coming in on that 56. DNA, bloodlines, connections. Who are you and what are you? Vane, weathercock, fluctuate. The weathercock knows not which way to blow, so it flutters while the next fool mutters and spins on a pin with all the flags and hues of others' views flapping in the wind. Dressed, obsessed and oppressed by the liveries of any thoughts but your own. This is the king's new clothes, isn't it? It's the pretense. Exit the influence of others, weather the changes of thought by using love as your compass. Be yourself socially. Brave out life. Oh, glorious, glorious. Okay, that is it. That is it for now. I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you for being here, and I will see you all again soon. Bye.